Lost amidst all the unbelievable twists and turns from this storybook season and the bright future ahead for your Seahawks has been the stellar year Uchenna Nwosu has put together. The Seahawks are getting all the benefits of a talented and polished player just heading into his prime. He's been a dynamic pass rusher with an assembly of moves, capable of rooting down in the run game, setting the edge, or even overpowering offensive tackles at the point of attack. Every week on Keen Display, we're getting to see great instincts, a high motor, and even leadership qualities. We're not even halfway through this season, and already Uchenna has matched his career high in sacks and nearly matched his career highs in tackles, tackle for loss, quarterback hits, and passes defensed. And it seems by not mere happenstance. There are archetypes in this league, and they do vary. You've got your man-child types, freakazoids, both physically and athletically, that are capable of dominating from the second they first step foot on an NFL field. Then you got your one-trick ponies. These guys usually have one single pass rush move that they mainly rely upon to generate their pressure and production. You also have got your slow and steady types. They come into the league, usually produce very quickly early on, and continue to produce, though their game overall remains in that same steady, stagnant state, not really much progressing upwards. And of course, there are those many that fail, who are just unable to produce at the pro level. But there's another type too. The kid that enters this league young, gifted, and raw. He just needs some time to develop, and he might not ever get there. But if he can reach his potential, he can become a beast. This is the archetype to which Uchenna Nwosu belongs. He's been in the league 5 years, but he's not even yet turned 26 years old. And like the werewolf under a full moon, he's turning into that beast. The Seahawks signed the outside linebacker in free agency this past offseason to a 2-year, $20 million deal. Now, many Seahawks fans at the time shrugged at the signing, as there was a great preference out there for some of the bigger names that were available on the open market, like Chandler Jones, who signed a monster deal with the Raiders. The Uchenna bargain is proving to be a doozy of a deal. He is certainly on track to become one of General Manager John Schneider's best free agent signings. He has been everywhere for your Seahawks. Prior to last week's game against the New York Giants, he was leading the league in pressures, according to AWS Advanced Stats. He has 7 sacks on the year, 8 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 3 passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Chandler Jones, by the way, has 1 sack on the year total. So let's dive on into the tape, shall we? Let's take a little bit of a closer look at Uchenna Nwosu to see how he's whooping butts and taking names this 2022 season. We begin with Uchenna, week 1 against the Denver Broncos. Nwosu didn't just make a good first impression on a new team. He should have had the 12 swooning with 7 tackles, a sack, 2 quarterback hits, a tackle for loss, a pass defensed, all while playing a good portion of the game in a quarterback spy role. Uchenna was everywhere on the field, absolutely relentless, play after play, making some kind of impact. The rest of the NFL took notice too, crowning Nwosu as Defensive Player of the Week. The initial thing you notice with Uchenna is first step quickness. It puts tackles on notice right out of their stance. And oftentimes he can catch them overcorrecting their pass set in anticipation of said quickness. This is where Uchenna's veteran understanding of the position comes into play. He has an assortment of choices in his build, including dip and bend, which always pairs well with quickness. And he'll often finish with a rip move around the edge to seal the deal. Uchenna also has active hands and can violently free himself from a block and quickly zero back in on the ball carrier or quarterback like a 1-2 step. He also has a surprising amount of power to his game. Uchenna sets the edge with ease, and when he chooses to do so, gets under the tackle's pads and gets them up on skates like the field was just turned to ice. The quandary of Uchenna is he's forcing tackles into guessing games. And the second he catches you guessing wrong, he's got you. There's also one hell of a V8 motor in that Nwosu engine. I don't know the horsepower, but he revs it to the red line every play. He gets to tackles he shouldn't just because of pure, unadulterated hustle. You want a player to play with high effort all the time? That's just what he gives you. Did I mention he's also very smart? Harder to trick and even tougher to fool. Quite a few quarterbacks this year have suffered a brutal shot because Uchenna was left unblocked as a pass rusher on a play-action pass. When Pete Carroll first became head coach of the Seahawks, one of his first orders of business was to go out and find an ideal Leo defensive end for his cherished defense. No, Coach Carroll wasn't trying to put a cop on the football field. The Leo, or blindside pass rusher in Carroll's defense, is the beginning ingredient for his pass rush recipe for success. Chris Clemons became that guy for the Seahawks in 2010. He was never a star, never went to a Pro Bowl, but every year you could pencil him in for 10-plus sacks and solid run defense. He, along with Red Bryant and Brandon Mabane, were the beginning building blocks for the Legion of Boom. Uchenna Nwosu has some striking similarities with Clemons. The polished nature of their pass rush repertoire, their high motor effort, their consistency against both the pass and the run. And as was the case with Chris Clemons' arrival, maybe this also means the Seahawks have a great defense on the horizon once more. Or maybe even better, General Manager John Schneider and Coach Carroll are merely fitting to the old, brilliant blueprint. My name is Brandon Kane. This is the Hawks Nest. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. But don't you ever forget, go Hawks.
He is the consummate professional. Not to sound like coach talk, but you got to be around him to understand. Like, this guy is first class, business all day, incredible work ethic, super, super smart. He's unselfish, with his ability to go work with the other guys that surround him, and a great leader for young players in terms of how to conduct yourself, how to, if you have questions and things like that, how to ask and go about it, and he can help teach guys and help them understand, how things get put together. I mean, I just can't say enough positive things about this cat. The human being that he is, the player that he is, and he's young, he's only getting better. He's going to continue to improve facets of his game, so thank God we got him.